Hi, this is Bob Burns from the the Miami-Dade Real Estate Investors Association, and we're going over part 5 of the Housing Quality Standards HUD inspection checklist for a Housing Choice Voucher Program from your local public housing authority, or another name better known as Section 8 or Plan 8 in Spanish. And here's an example of some of the things that the inspectors are going to check. Your stairways. And here's a stairway of a property that I purchased. And you'll notice the exterior and some of the things, the improvements I made before and after pictures here. Stairways are going to be examined by the inspector, the exterior and the interior. And here's two examples of exterior stairway and interior stairways on properties. All handrails will be properly secured. On the stairways, you have handrails, and here's some examples of unsecure handrails, and you'll see some damage here. That's unsecure. And over here in this example, there's some damage. The brackets aren't mounted correctly. And here is example of a well-mounted bracket for a handrail on a staircase. And here's an example of when you need handrails and when you don't. Here is an example of 3 steps. There's only 3 steps here. And notice there's no handrails. That's okay. 4 or more consecutive steps, you're going to need a handrail. And here's an example of a property where there's steps and there's more than 4 steps, so you have a handrail right here. Are the stairs free of loose, broken, or missing steps? Here's a great example of broken steps and missing steps. Very dangerous. You'll never pass inspection with the HUD. Is there any tripping hazards? I've seen cables, electrical cords, telephone cords run across steps. Very dangerous. And the inspector will not pass your property if you have tripping hazards on the staircases. Are there secure railings on porches, balconies, landings 30-inch high or higher? This includes cellar, basement entrances, areas that are 30 inches or more below ground. Okay, remember up in the Northeast there's basements. Down here in Florida it's pretty hard to have a basement because you'll be flooded. But up Northeast where I grew up, we always had a basement, and you need a railing. Exterior, there's other things that the inspector will look for on the interior and exterior of a building. Are they free of debris? Now here's an example of this same property that as I purchased, you'll notice there's a lot of debris out here, broken fences here, bushes. All right, inside the property there's debris. I had to clear all this out. Now obviously nobody can live in this property, and the inspector would not even bother coming out if he saw this. So, you know, obviously I had to clean this up and repair it before I could even have an inspector come to see these properties. Are there covered waste disposal receptacles? Here's an example of a trash can. The city of Miami gives each individual unit. You should have these at the property. If they're not there before you purchase it, make sure you get them from the former owner. Maybe he has them stored so nobody will steal them. People do steal them, yes, and they break too if you load it up with construction material. Interior and exterior units built before 1978, rented to families with children under the age of 6. Is the unit free of any chipping, peeling, flaking, chalking, or cracking painted surface, including windows, window wells, door frames, walls, ceilings, porches, garages, fence, or play equipment? I failed for chip paint on one of my properties after a hurricane. So they're very strict about properties with leaded paint on the property. So if the building is or unit is older, after it was built before 1978, they will check heavily, and they very strict about this. Here is the reason I failed an inspection one time, because this chip paint appeared after a hurricane storm, and my inspection was like a couple days after the hurricane, so I didn't have time to fix that chip paint on the property. And you could see it's not much, but he failed me for that. Okay, and again, you could see the the siding here, the wood siding here, you could tell it's old and it's been painted a million times and it's chipped. And then the inspector just said, he was worried about the lead hazard. So I did fail that. Door stops. I don't think it's mandatory to have those, but the inspectors, all the inspectors that came to my properties wanted them on the doors, so that it prevents damage to the interior of the wall, the interior walls. So you have to have the door stops mounted on all doors that open inside the house. And that's the end of the series of the housing quality standards checklist. And here's some more information about Section 8. The link here, this is our link for about Section 8. And also, in this sign here, you have my mobile phone if you want to get a hold of me, if you have any questions. Thank you for your patience. It was a long series, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.